How we doing? This is Fox back again for sound design tutorials. Okay, this is a track I've been working on inside Ableton. I have only used Sylenth for every single part. You've got a pluck, a lead, 2 pads, 4 layers to the bass, and a riser effect and a white noise effect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different Sylenth patches are used to make this. This whole project file is going to be available to download at a cost. If you're interested in this, you can email me directly. It's mrmfox22@gmail.com. I'll do a link to my email in the description. So yeah, you can buy this project as you see it, royalty free, ready to go, all the drums and everything all in. I've only used Ableton Live 9 and Sylenth. I've used a few other external sort of plugins on the master channel, but most of the Christmas what you hear is from me just mixing it myself in Ableton. I spent a lot of time EQing, make sure everything had its own space. So yeah, I mean, if you've got these that I use, FabFilter, Pro Q, C6 and Isotope, and more the merrier, but you don't generally need these for the sound for it to sound as good as this. You could easily finish it in Ableton. But yeah, as I say, I will play this through quickly so you can hear the track as a whole, see what you think, and then I'll go through all the patches quickly. I will be doing tutorials for all the patches separately later on, but yeah, for now, here it is. Okay, there you have it. That is the track in its entirety. So you will get everything, all the samples, all the MIDI clips. When you open it, as long as you've got Sylenth and Live 9, this is what you'll get. So yeah, I'll go through all the parts quickly. First part at the top is this Pluck. Part A and Part B for this. Again, nothing too stressful. 2 saw waves, a triangle and a sine wave. Bit of delay, distortion, compression. Got no effects on the channel itself, just some EQing, some sidechain compression. The next one we've got is the lead sound. This is a typical Sylenth super saw lead. Two saw waves, a triangle wave and a thin pulse. No effects on this patch itself. The effect is a reverb on the group, which I've called Plucks. Again, some EQing, just a boost in that section. No other effects on that lead sound at all. This is what the two sound like together, the group as a whole. Lovely, rich, full sounding group there. So the next group I've got is pads. No master effects on this group as a whole. I've got this mid sounding pad. Really pleased with this one. It's a really lush sounding warm pad. It's a saw wave, a square wave and a sine wave. I've got an LFO on it controlling the cutoff, giving it that sort of warbly effect, and an envelope on the rate so that the LFO speeds up as it goes through. You can hear it better on this section. Brilliant pad that is, one of the best ones I've ever made with Sylenth. Really pleased with that. The next one is this higher sounding pad. That's a thin pulse and a triangle giving you that one. No modulation, just an envelope on the filter. Real straightforward. This is what the two sound like together. So I spent a lot of time EQing this, make sure everything fitted well together. A cut there to make some space for the lead it was, or the pluck, sorry. I spent a lot of time, so I've spent a lot of time EQing this to make sure it all fits well, so that when you get it, it doesn't really matter whether you got these master effects or not. There's not much EQing on the master channel itself, just basic cuts. So yeah, that's the pads done. I've got 4 layers for the bass. One of them isn't really a bass, which is this gate. I'll show you that first. That's taken care of the mids of the sound really, but it fitted in with the bass because it was the same sort of structure as the bass sounds. This is a saw wave and a triangle wave. A bit of envelope on distortion amount. This is the high mid part of the bass. again, some EQing just to move out of the way of other parts of the bass. It's a saw wave and a square wave. Envelope on the filter, so nothing too crazy again. This is the mid part of the bass. This is where the main body of the sound comes from. Nice plucky, stabby bass sound. No effects again outside of Sylenth. And there's an inside Sylenth for this. I've got one voice triangle, one voice with impulse, and a hit. Envelope on the filter. And then the last part of the bass is the sub. I've moved everything out of the way. You see, everything is cut from 100 Hz down, and then the sub is taking care of anything from 100 Hz below. This is the sub. Basic sub. This is the bass as a whole. Nice and tight, nice crisp sounding bass that is. So that's the bass is done. So the drums are all Vengeance samples, but when I collect all and save, it doesn't matter where I get them from, you will get them. The effects again, a crash and a riser. I made this riser with Sylenth. Quite a lot going on in this patch. I'm modulating the phaser rate with inside Ableton, phaser LFO, sorry, something that you can't do with inside Sylenth, so I've modulated that within Ableton. Also the oscillator A1 detune within Ableton as well, a bit of volume gain at the end. So yeah, nothing too crazy there. I've got a white noise riser, basic white noise riser, made with Sylenth again. That's it, real straightforward to say. So you get the riser, white noise riser, 4 bass layers, 2 plucky layers, and 2 pad layers. So for 10 Sylenth patches in all, plus the project as a whole, and it all laid out ready for you to do with whatever you want, whether you want to take it bit by bit, use the patches on their own or whatever. But yeah, the price I'm still trying to work out. It's probably going to be about £15 I would imagine, which I think is fair. I've been looking at some other places where people are selling Ableton projects. But yeah, if you are interested, hit me up on my email or tweet me. Again, I'll do all the links to me to get through to me in the description. And every tutorial I do on these patches will post a link to this as well, so you can get over to this. So yeah, I'll play it through again just so you can hear it, and then that's me done. Okay, thanks already if you do, but get in touch with me, and hope you enjoy it.
Bye.